Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and ghosts and goblins. We're reaching out to you across the airwaves on this fine All Hallows Eve to remind you if you're feeling high, if you're feeling low, you've always got a place to go. So welcome to the Low High Podcast. I am one half of your spooky host, Sele.
And I'm the other ghoulish half, Marcello.
And we're coming to you this night saying, hey, it's Halloween. Maybe we're quarantined. Maybe you're not. But in the end, it's still Halloween and we gotta celebrate. So let us know how you're celebrating. Are you going out for a party even though you know you shouldn't? Are you gonna sit on your carpet at home and get drunk in a nice costume? Let us know.
Yeah, because that's probably, we're doing one of the two.
We're not gonna say which though. So anyway, Marcello, how do you feel about Halloween?
I've become a recent fan of Halloween. So
A recent fan?
Recent fan, yes. Growing up, I was so easily creeped out by things, dude. I was a big anti-Halloweener. One of my costumes I made when I was a kid was I made a cardboard robot, but I made it all colorful and shit because I was genuinely so spooked out by all the Halloween decorations my mom would put up because I had a really vibrant imagination as a kid. So I would always just be scared during Halloween season in my own house.
Oh my god, I can't imagine. So growing up in Nigeria, we don't celebrate Halloween because people are like, you want to worship the devil, blah blah blah. We love Jesus in this house, blah blah blah. But I was pretty familiar with the concept of Halloween growing up because all the cartoons we watched, they had Halloween episodes and it'd be fun. I've only seen one neighborhood growing up back home celebrate Halloween when I first came to America. So the whole idea of Halloween I had in my head was the very child Halloween, trick or treat, kids running around. I was really not prepared for adult Halloween because I came out that Sunday, I put together a costume. I can't even remember what I was for my freshman year Halloween. Oh no, yes I was. For my freshman year Halloween, I didn't put together a costume because I wasn't planning on doing anything that weekend. But I decided to go out last minute. I put on some traditional clothes from back home and told people I was a Nigerian scammer. Honestly, people smiled a bit too hard when I said that, but it is what it is. So anyway, I just walked around a couple different parties. It was crazy just seeing all these people in different costumes performing high level debauchery all over the town. It was fascinating. It was blowing my mind.
Dude, Halloween is delinquent night. It is the night to be a degenerate.
Dude.
But I don't know how that happened because traditionally it was supposed to be a thing where you ward off evil spirits. So you're supposed to act. So you were supposed to act very ghoulish and creepy in order to scare away spirits, which now that I'm thinking about it, that logic is kind of flawed because how are you really going to scare away a ghost by putting on some scary shit,
Imagine being an actual ghost and you pull up to haunt somebody and you see them in a $15 Target Halloween costume and they're rawr,
yeah.
I'll just be standing there look at yourself. The secondhand embarrassment would be so terrible.
A demon pulls up and he's like, what the heck are you supposed to be? And then you're just like, yo, I'm from Fortnite. What are you? That's it, bro. I'm taking your soul right now.
Nah.
But how it quickly transitioned to as soon as you became 16, 17, it's just, hey, you don't even want to remember Halloween. You'd rather just wake up, with a bunch of throw up and wherever you are, whatever you've eaten, probably not even candy anymore.
Halloween wasted is different because it's always the morning after Halloween weekend, that Sunday. You can see people moving around during the day. Almost everybody has sunglasses on because of the hangovers.
It's crazy.
My Halloween experiences have been very interesting. I've had to run from the police 2 Halloweens in a row. Was I breaking the law? Maybe.
Were you?
As far as you guys know, no.
Okay.
But this was it's very special because that was my first time running from the police.
Mm-hmm. And this was in America?
This was here in America. And I'm 19. We're at this house party. And everybody's in costume, everybody's having a good time. And then the owner comes in and knocks yo, the cops are here. Everybody needs to leave. So everybody sprints out of the house. I was okay, I don't want to be too suspicious. So me just walking out And then I realized I'd forgotten my jacket. It was mad cold. So I started going back towards the house because I wasn't going to go get my jacket. And as I'm walking towards the house, the cop car is still parked in front of the house. And while I'm trying to sneak back in through the back, me and this officer lock eyes. And he's just like, hey! And but like before he can finish saying, hey, I'm gone.
Yo.
That's the fastest I think I've ever run in my life. Like I ran all the way like back to campus.
You're a pretty fast runner. I remember there was one night when it was like you, me, and Abel, and then I think we were with Alejandra as well and some other people. Maybe we shouldn't say their names, but we weren't doing anything bad. There were no cops involved. But I just remember Abel just took off just because he wanted to run real fast. And then, bro, you took off. And first off, I was confused because you were both fast as fucking hell. And I was like, damn, I'm taller than them both. Well, I'm not taller than you. But I tried to keep up, bro. I could not. Y'all were quick off the line.
You gotta always be ready at any point. Remember, if there's one thing you guys remember, always be ready. But no, it's been like fun. I kind of did celebrate Halloween once as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was at my aunt's place, like this apartment complex, and I got like a little like, you know, nice Power Rangers costume. And my mom, I was like, yo, can I just like walk around and like ask these strangers for candy? And my mom was like, no. And then like I went and I asked my dad, and he was like, See, I don't know if he said yes or no, but he was like okay with me going outside. So I just kind of like wandered around the building. Like nobody gave me candy. Like only like a couple of people even like had decorations up.
Damn.
And like I ran into like one or two other kids like on that same level of disappointment as me. Like me and my little like Power Rangers mask. This other kid like as a toilet paper mummy. We're just like this deep sighs, and we each went back home. So like yeah, I didn't get like nice kid Halloween. I missed out.
You never. So that was your only experience, like trick-or-treating?
Like as a kid, yeah, I never trick-or-treated.
Oh, damn. I used to well, we would trick-or-treat every year, and like, dude, you would get some crazy candy, but my mom was always like, she's very health conscious. I'm not gonna say like a health freak. So she would only let us fill up like a small Ziploc bag of candy, and the rest we had to put in our candy bin for like all the people who would come later at night. And bro, that hurt so much. Like you have this huge sack full of candy. You traveled a whole whopping like 3 blocks to get it all as a kid. It felt like a giant journey. And you come back from this epic quest with all of this candy, and then you can only keep like a handful of this shit.
Wow, that's terrible. See, that's the thing. I feel like I missed out because I feel like Halloween is like a great sense of adventure to it. You know, something like we never really got to have as a kid. But at the same time, people, in my opinion, there's people who like Halloween way too much.
Oh yeah. Because
like there's no reason for you to have skeletons outside of your house mid-September. What are you doing with your life? Like I understand like you can love Halloween, like it's fine, but people like celebrate Halloween for an entire month. Like you can do what you want, but like just in my opinion, y'all kind of whack for that.
People who are big on Halloween, I've grown to really appreciate it more. Like, I think it's cool to decorate for Halloween. I think it adds like a fun aspect of spook, and I think it really brings fall together. You know, carving pumpkins, stuff like that. That's all pretty sick. But yeah, the people who go hard with decorations in general kind of confuse me. And it's weird because my family is definitely one of them. And like, I usually have to do all of the work. So maybe that's why I don't like it. But people who go hard on Halloween, like people who actually start decorating for Halloween before even October. Like when you're in October, you're kind of in a clear, right? Because it's spooky month.
Right.
But it's still at the end of the month. You still have like 31 days to throw up your skeletons.
Like I feel like the ideal time to throw up your Halloween decorations should be maybe the week before, or at most 2 weeks before Halloween.
For sure.
Because when I come to your house on October 1st, and I see skeletons going, and I'm like, bro, I just came here to like see my friend. I don't know why the skeleton is in my face. I'm confused. This is a violent situation. I was not prepared for this.
I didn't want to see the dead today.
See, I never got like freaked out by Halloween skeletons, but my first encounter with one was very jarring to me because I wasn't scared. I was just kind of taken aback by it because I was walking by and it was one of those skeletons that when you walk near it, it goes ha ha ha, like, and the eyes glows and everything.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like kind of young, and I didn't see the skeleton, so I walked near it, and it goes ha ha ha, and I just jumped and I'm like, yo. Because I'm like little, and I was like a fat kid too, so it was kind of like watching watching a basketball just kind of like smack itself on the ground and just like jump really high. Because that was how I reacted to the skeleton, and I was like, oh, this is kind of ridiculous, and I felt like mad embarrassed because I was with my family too.
It's okay, man.
While that happened, but looking back on it, it was kind of funny to think about.
Bro, I remember the first time I was really scared by Halloween was I was young and I was trick-or-treating. I think my cousin like took me out or whatever, and it like got dark, but it gets dark super early anyway, so it probably wasn't even that late. But I remember I saw this like kid in this clown costume, and it was like kind of bloody and whatever, and it actually scared the like the breath out of me. As a kid, I don't know how young I was, but I was like on the younger end. I was absolutely mortified of this demon clown who I thought was absolutely coming to like steal my spine and then soul. But the worst part is, like, I didn't even run. I just kind of accepted it. I stood there just like kind of waiting for this dude to either kill me or pass.
You're like 10 years old, you're standing seeing this clown like, okay, this is it.
Yeah. Fortunately, he passed, and I'm still here today with my soul, but not my dignity.
Speaking of like killer clowns, do you remember like back in like 2016, that whole killer clown
That
thing
actually
during
freaked
Halloween?
me.
That was... I don't understand how society reached that point. Like, looking back on it, honestly, I don't know why we let it like get that bad.
Dude, but it was really like there was not a mandate, but there was like a bunch of stuff in my town where everyone was like, don't wear a clown mask. Like, clown costumes were kind of prohibited or tabooed, at least in my town.
Really?
Yeah. People were just freaked out it was part of something bigger, but I think it was just because of the It movie that was coming out.
I think there was like this thing that was spreading on Twitter about how some people were trying to plan some actual It murders in real life on Halloween.
That was it.
And I remember, like, I don't even know that was like a real thing or something people started just to scare people. Because it's Halloween, you really can't take all this stuff at face value because you're just going to end up looking dumb.
For sure. I mean, the only thing you can really count on Halloween is like degeneracy, then leftovers from Mischief Night, and then like people will try to make everything sexy.
Oh, but I remember I saw what's it called? A sexy coronavirus hazmat worker costume online, and I almost like flipped my table because I was like, is this really what we're doing, the human race?
Bro, maybe Halloween could work this year if everyone dressed up as like a hazmat suit, or those guys from like Monsters Inc. who come to like...
Oh, that'd be so fun. That'd be the ideal situation.
Everyone goes out, but everyone's actually just sweating and can't even drink anything or hold... You're just breathing, you're just looking at your own breath in this hazmat suit.
The entire town just sounds like Darth Vader, just...
Yeah. Dude, people would makeshift those things. Like, you would just sound like people walking around in trash bag suits.
Oh, that'd kill me.
Your entire town sounds like a potato chip bag.
I think there's some like essential parts of Halloween, like definitely, like, you know, candy, adventure, slutty outfits, horror movies. Horror movies are like, okay. So I watched a lot of horror movies growing up, so horror movies don't really scare me. I don't really feel... Like Haunting of Hill House, I remember I just finished watching it recently, and I remember when it came out, people were saying that The Haunting of Hill House was making people throw up and pass out. Damn. And I remember watching this whole series, and I'm like, this is incredibly underwhelming.
I've never seen it, actually. I'm not a big horror or spooky thing. I've gotten into it recently. I like started watching like kind of cult classics or B-rated horror movies.
Oh, like what?
Like my favorite B-rated horror movie I've ever seen, it might actually even be C-rated, it's called Mandy with Nicolas Cage. It was just kind of like this really intense... it didn't really make a lot of sense, so it's hard to describe, but these
horror movies hardly ever make sense, though, if we're being frank.
No, they don't, but this one was quite out there, and it has one of my favorite scenes I've ever seen Nicolas Cage in, ironically. Anyway, like, these demon worshippers kind of come and they like torture this one girl as like an offering or whatever, and it was Nicolas Cage's girlfriend or maybe even wife, and he kind of just flips out, and then all out of nowhere just becomes like a crazy badass. I would say like secret, like Marvel Shield agent equivalent skill wise, but just he forges his own demon slaying sword. He does demon coke. He kills a bunch of monsters.
Wait. He does demon what?
Yeah.
Demon cook?
It makes no. He like walks in. I'm trying not to. Okay, actually, there's a lot of spoilers in there, but no one's gonna watch this movie. But he he just walks in, karate kicks some demon in the face, and then shotgun blast. And then a demon has a shotgun for some reason, tries to shoot him. He kills that demon, and then at no context does a line of demon coke. You watch his face melt, and then he's reborn, and then he's like, just goes to hell to kill Satan.
What?
Bro, it is the wildest movie, but it is so great. And let me tell you, there's one scene before Nicolas Cage goes on his rampage where he's just in the bathroom contemplating what just happened. And I vibe with that scene so incredibly hard. We'll try and throw it up on, like, I'll try and throw that scene up on our socials. That way you guys can relate to what I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that's not even really so much a spooky, like, horror Halloween movie.
Nah, this man really out here doing demon coke? God
coke.
Damn. I think maybe the best horror movie I've ever seen on Halloween. I don't know. I've seen like a bunch of horror movies. Maybe my like favorite ridiculous horror movies, obviously the Scary Movies growing up.
Those are so good though.
The scene in Scary Movie 2 where they like parodied that like that Nike commercial where they're like all bouncing the ball.
No.
And the guy in the wheelchair starts spinning around on his head while still sitting in the chair. That took me out so hard as a kid because I was dying. No. My favorite part. I don't know, for all you viewers out here, if you're not familiar with the Scary Movie franchise, they parody like all the popular horror movies of their current time and make them incredibly funny. Scary Movie 5, I didn't like that much, but all the other ones are pretty solid in my opinion.
I'm a big fan. They gave me the courage to watch horror movies.
Because like once you like think about how ridiculous like horror movies really are, they just aren't scary anymore.
Yeah.
Because I remember, before I get back on this tangent, my favorite part of Scary Movie 2 is when there's two characters. One of them is in a wheelchair and one of them has a messed up hand, and these two just absolutely just destroy each other with roasts throughout the movie, and it's just the funniest thing ever.
Bro, that's awesome.
Because there's a point where the guy in the wheelchair, he starts clapping. He's like, give us a hand, everybody. Give us a hand. And the guy with the messed up hand is like, oh, why don't you give me a standing ovation? And I just died right there. Like, how could you murder somebody like that?
So mercilessly. Maybe that's the horror. Maybe that's the real horror aspect. It's people, not ghouls.
No, but every time I watch a horror movie and I just like sit down like in front of the movie and be like, okay, I'm ready to watch some white people make stupid decisions for this next hour and a half.
Terrible decisions.
I love how it's like universally understood that people in horror movies just make the dumbest decisions, but it's just like never really addressed.
Well, the thing is, I feel like with most of the horror movies I've seen, it's either one, it's like if you were to fight or flight it, it's neither. It's just stand there. So, which is not a valid response. Like, you should either run from that shit ASAP, or you should, like, really try and go at it.
And that thing in movies where something is falling in a straight line and people just keep running in that straight line instead of just running to the right. Why?
Yeah.
Who taught you? Who educated you? I remember
one path out.
People in horror movies act like they've never seen horror movies. That's the whole thing.
Oh, hey, that's pretty good.
I feel like it's like become very popular, like meta commentary in horror stuff. For people to be like, yeah, why don't we go into that house full of abandoned rusty chainsaws instead of taking the car? And also like splitting up every time. Like that's another thing. If you have one person chasing you, this is like there's like 6 of you, and you're like, okay, it's too dangerous. Let's all split off by ourselves, bro. Like, literally, man like me and my friends, pub stomp this man immediately.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't understand. Because like, okay, if it's like a horror movie killer, like, you know, like all these like crazy unstoppable guys like Jason and Michael Myers or like Freddy Krueger who can like only attack you in your dreams, like I understand like why you'd be afraid, because those are like unwinnable fights. But in all these movies where it's like just some guy who's just like messed up and has something sharp, there's 6 of you. Like you're still like you're going to win this fight unless this man traveled to the peak of the mountains and trained with the greatest swordsman of our time. Like he pulls out some kung fu shit. He's gonna lose this fight because literally he's gonna like kick him in the back of kick him in the back of the leg. And just watch him fall down and just kick him while he's on the ground. Like I don't understand like how people like never think of this, because people are like willing to like fight other people over like lesser things scaring them.
You know, it's weird though, because I feel like in horror movies, most of them, it's like if it's an hour and a half movie, nothing happens for like an hour and 20 minutes, and then in the last 10 minutes it all just hits the fan.
Oh no, absolutely.
So it's just a lot of setup, kind of a lot of nothing.
That's the thing. Horror movies, I can understand why people don't like horror movies, because a lot of it is just like you're sitting there waiting to be scared. And if the scares don't work on you, you're literally just sitting there.
Facts. But you know what? I think one thing I've found is because I've been forced to watch a lot of horror movies because of my friends, and like everyone thinks it's really funny that I'm like quite terrified of horror movies. But like if you were to just crack jokes during a movie, horror movies are the easiest ones to pick out, bro.
Oh no, 100%.
Like you can joke about that stuff so quickly, so easily. Like we were watching Annabelle, and bro, if you just look at it, and like maybe this is just me being mean, but like straight up when she's possessed, she really just looks like a crackhead. Like she does. No, she does. She's like tweaking out. She's really like the worst part is too, like you can say that, look at the clips, and then they'll be like, oh damn. Like if the ER just like rolled past, or like if paramedics just rolled past Annabelle, they'd be like, yo, we need to stem this one.
Bro, you're like beep beep, you just see the ambulance backing up. Ma'am, are you okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna eat your soul.
She's delirious. There's like pump her full of tranquilizers, just passes out. That's how the movie ends.
Bro, wait, what happens if you like, you know how you can defibrillate people back to life? So what happens if you like defibrillate someone who's possessed? Would you kill them, or would you bring them back to life? Or like a zombie?
I don't know if you can you defibrillate a zombie? Like a zombie is like definitely already dead.
Yeah.
Somebody who's possessed, I feel like would be different though. But,
yeah, I guess you'd end up killing them, and then the spirit would have to like.
Yeah. Speaking of like being possessed, all these like exorcism movies where like it goes like shit just hits the fan immediately. Exorcisms like are never fun in movies, because I assume they're never fun in real life if people actually do them. And I remember this movie, The Last Exorcism, really kind of like freaking me out, because it's this dude who, like this pastor who goes around talking about how, you know, exorcisms aren't real. And then he runs into like this family and stuff like people are actually possessed, and it just goes terribly.
Dude, I believe in spirits, and I would not I'm not gonna confirm or deny the like existence of ghosts and, you know, good and bad spirits and whatever. And I'm sure exorcists are a thing. Like they are a thing. They're actually like a thing. Like people practice that. Yeah,
but it's like hard to like get an actual exorcism done.
For sure.
I guess you need to get like permission straight from the Vatican.
Yeah.
And I feel like, okay, I personally feel like that isn't a good system, because like, okay, I feel like it's easier now. It's easier now, definitely, because, you know, you can just like call somebody or like, you know, FaceTime. You can FaceTime like somebody in the Vatican, like, oh, and like just like show them like somebody like screaming, like, you know, the head twisting, walking on all fours kind of thing. Like, if like that's how the system's like always been. Imagine like in the past, you find somebody like heavily possessed, and you've got to like send a letter.
Oh.
You have to send like a messenger on foot to like deliver that to somebody, to like put it on like a pigeon or something, to fly it to the Vatican.
Pass.
Like that must be like so incredibly inconvenient. That could never be me. I couldn't deal with all this bureaucracy.
The thing is, like, even dealing with that for 2 full days, like, because I know you have to call in, then someone has to come check it out, and then they need to confirm it, and I think it has to go through like 2 or 3 confirmations So, bro, imagine just being the family, just sitting with that for like a week. Like, yep, I told you she was possessed, and she's still possessed, and like now she's starting to do weirder things. Like, can you just get this exorcist over here?
And like, imagine like you tell the demon, all right, an exorcist is coming.
Yeah.
And like, you know, they're fully ready to freak out the exorcist. And you know, they're in the room for 2 weeks just sitting there getting ready to spin their head around and like throw up. And you see like the third week, they just kind of like peek their head out like, yo, is he like coming?
Yeah. I'm ready for my therapy session.
Oh my God. They're like, yo, just like wait. The demon just like in his room, bored as hell. You see them just like start grinding. Just like the demon just grinding on Minecraft. Like literally like no shit's given.
That's where demons play. I don't know, bro. Exorcisms. You can miss me with that for sure.
I don't know. I feel like if like I know it's like some serious things and you know people like believe in these things very seriously, but like if there were like no specific like guidelines for exorcisms, I feel like you could have like a lot of fun with it. Get like a super soaker filled with holy water, just kind of like go to town on them. Like the power of Christ compels you. Like
I wonder what are confirmed methods. Like what methods work with exorcisms, you know?
There's like a bunch of stuff, crosses, lots of Latin involved, lots and lots of Latin, lots of Bible verse kinds of things.
Yeah.
It depends. Sometimes people just say like, you know, just pray really hard and the demon like goes away. I don't really know all these things.
No, I don't know either. I just wonder like because I'm sure there's like a rule book or a guidebook, you know, for exorcists. So I wonder if it's like, yeah, we tried the garlic thing, didn't work. We tried the holy water thing, sometimes it works.
Like literally, because you gotta understand, like all these horror stories about, you know, possessions and like the undead are in pretty much every culture. So every culture kind of has a way of dealing with these things, but you can never really be sure what's going on.
Nope.
Because there's like a million stories about like, okay, you gotta use silver, or like you gotta use garlic, or you gotta use like lemon juice. And like imagine like you know like your sister is possessed. And somebody tells you, yeah, you gotta like splash a bunch of lemon juice on her. You're just standing there like super fucking confused.
With your Minute Maid lemonade.
In your hand.
Just like, the juice isn't working.
Just crying.
Yeah.
Pouring lemonade on the demon. The demon like looking so confused. The lemonade stinging its eyes. Ah, like, I'm sorry. I love you, no.
But imagine like, because you know how humans had to trial test, like, you know, like, a lot of people died just eating things that we didn't know were bad for us.
Yeah.
Imagine just being a demon and just like, or like a vampire, right? And then you just go to an Italian restaurant and you're like, yeah, I'll take the garlic bread. And then like, next thing you know, you're 6 feet under.
That's an L.
Or like you get a splinter as a vampire and like, well, it's a stake to the heart, but a big splinter in the heart? Damn.
Like I remember watching all the Blade movies growing up. I loved those movies. Like I used to think vampires were really cool before Twilight came out.
Yeah.
I still think they're kind of cool now. But honestly, being a vampire seems super inconvenient because like
Oh, for sure.
you need to like drink blood to survive. You have to go. You can only like go outside at night, and like you're super pale, and you're gonna like live forever. Like eventually, like you're gonna get bored eventually because. Literally, all like the popular vampires are just fucking creeps. A normal person wouldn't want to be a vampire. Because think about like Dracula, what's his face, Edward Cullen, and I don't know any other fucking vampire. What do they have in common? The fact that they're creepy dudes who, despite being like hundreds of thousands of years old, like going after underage women. Literally, that's the whole thing. Because like, think about it. This dude was like 100 in Twilight. This man is like 100+ years old, still in high school. Like doing all this shit over a high school girl. Like that's impossibly sus.
That's super sus. Yeah, there's probably like a century limit, you know?
Like 100%.
God damn. No, that's creepy.
And like, I can't imagine like blood tasting good. Also, I can't remember. I saw this online. Somebody said that basically you could get the same things you get from blood from just drinking coconut water. So I thought it'd be funny. I just imagine like the concept of tropical vampires who like literally they just hang out and just drink like straight from coconuts all day.
Just hang out on the beach in the shade, just
Dude.
like drinking this fresh coconut. Yo, fresh news, damn.
And some dude from like some European vampire goes to like Hawaii or like
Yeah.
Jamaica or something for vacation. It's like, hey, I brought you this young woman so we could share together. And they're like, bro, what? They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Have a coconut.
We're past that. We're past that.
Like we don't do that here.
See, I think like the truly, and now this is just me being a nerd, but like, yeah, the vampire concept is very cool, but I honestly think the Tokyo Ghoul concept is like flawless. And the way they did that first season of like Tokyo Ghoul was so well done because that was truly horrifying.
See, the thing, I haven't really like seen Tokyo Ghoul. Honestly.
Oh.
I've only seen a couple. I've seen like a couple episodes, but I haven't like
Okay.
sat down and watched the whole thing.
I got you.
But it's like they're a bunch of like superhuman cannibals or something, right?
That's like a super simplified. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not gonna get into it, but it is, the ghouls are very similar to like humans, and so it's a really it was done so well in the show. And I won't spoil anything, but like, you know, because vampires have to suck the blood of like people out, and I guess if you were a person and became a vampire, that would seem kind of wrong, but it doesn't seem as wrong or disturbing as like actually having to eat somebody to survive. Like that's the only thing you can eat is like human flesh and coffee.
What? Why coffee?
As a ghoul, I don't know why. Maybe because it just tastes like shit. And I don't know why coffee, but
Do you get to like live forever?
I don't know this. I don't know all the specifics of like being a ghoul, but I thought it was a super cool. Highly recommended that show for anyone who wants to like watch a year-round Halloween thing.
Well, we're here on our Halloween shit. That's watch Tokyo Ghoul, yo.
Yeah, for real. And watch Hubie Halloween. That was a big Halloween movie that a lot of people really hated it. I can't lie. It's one of Adam Sandler's worst movies.
It's one of his worst movies.
It's not worst, but it's definitely just, yeah, it's not that good.
Damn, it just don't slap like that.
No.
I saw the trailer for it on Netflix, and I'm looking at thinking to myself, wow, I'm not gonna watch this.
Yeah. What I love so much is how he like really nailed it in Uncut Gems, and everyone praised him so much for like how he can actually act, and he was like, don't worry guys, I am still myself. I'm still putting out Hubie Halloween.
Bro, he just like Adam Sandler literally put out Uncut Gems just to flex. That's the only way I can see it.
Straight up. But damn, I wish we could flex.
Don't worry. When we have 200 listeners, 200 million listeners all around the world.
That'd be crazy.
Also, speaking of all around the world, we'd like to shout out to our one listener in Taiwan. We don't really know who you are, but you've like been consistently listening. So thank you.
Thank you a lot.
We have to shout out to all of our listeners like all around the world, but he's like the only one there.
Yeah.
So we figured we should at least shout him out.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of an international audience, and thank you very much to everybody who has been listening and supporting us. It means a lot.
Okay, but like your best Halloween. Okay, like we've talked about like monsters and ghouls, but like what's your best Halloween story? Like the best thing that you've seen or has happened to you on Halloween?
See, that's a really unfair question because I haven't done that much.
True.
Halloween wise, the best thing that's ever happened to me Halloween wise, I gotta say the most Halloween like fun I've had was was it last year? It must have been last year when we went out to like Halloween. It was like we went to all the boys at like Lyford Street and we hung out, and I had like a mask and you had that someone chopped you in the head with a cleaver.
Yeah.
It was that night. We just kind of chilled. We all hung out.
And then the cops showed up.
Yep, the cops showed up. Oh my god, yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about this story, because we got there. It was like we were there for what, 10 minutes maybe, and then like they were like, everyone needs to be super quiet. They shut all the lights off. They kind of cleared everyone out, but I think we stayed back for a little bit, and then we
What did we even do? Halloween is always a blur.
It is a blur. We went to one of the bars and we kind of just had a bunch of fun there. And I was an RA this semester, and I'm not an RA anymore, so I can say this shit without getting fired. And I saw a bunch of my underage residents there. And I remember Sele came in like super clutch because this one girl was she asked me, she was like, "Hey, aren't you like the RA in Leo Hall?" And then Zele walked right up to me without missing a beat, and he was like, "Oh, you mean my boy Danny?" Nah, this man's my roommate. I was like, "All right, man, let's go with it and let's get the fuck out of here."
I saw you like just like having the panic on your face. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's time to do what needs to be done.
No, I appreciated it. It was so funny.
See, I said your name was Danny because like I had like the Danny Phantom theme song is like playing in my head at that time. Also, shout out Danny Phantom, one of the best like old cartoons.
Yo, for real.
Like it's spooky as shit. Can't talk about spooky season without Danny Phantom.
For real. What about you? What's a good Halloween memory you have?
This is another memory from my freshman year Halloween. When you were abroad our first year, but in my first year at college, there was this little 18 and up club called Club 33. Now, unfortunately, this wonderful place is no longer open because it got shot up a bunch of times.
Oh, damn.
But I remember vividly going to Club 33. I'm like 18, 19. There's so many people there. Like, I've never seen so many people in so many costumes partying. One of my friends came dressed as Jesus. And I remember him he starts break dancing in his Jesus outfit.
Oh, that's sick.
And this whole circle of people like, yes, Jesus, yes. And I'm just out here dying. Now, it was super fun though. I think I saw a couple of fights though. Like there were like a couple of fights on that freshman year Halloween and like a couple of the parties we went to.
There's always fights on Halloween.
It's like, you see, the like how funny the fight is depends a lot on the costumes the people are wearing.
Facts. If you see like a Teletubby going up against Yoda.
Nah, some dude who I remember watching some guy who was dressed like as a Jedi actually like bring his Thor lightsaber. He incorporated his lightsaber into the fist fight. Like, you know, this dude was going for a punch. You know the scene in Star Wars where like Obi-Wan is like, don't try it, and Anakin is like, you underestimate my power. This guy with the toy lightsaber, he was Obi-Wan in that situation.
Oh, damn.
Because as soon as this other guy, he was dressed as like a skeleton or something like generic like that. As soon as he swung, caught this dude in the face right with the lightsaber. Like with finesse, the dude was down. He did not get up.
Damn.
And like he just like kind of puts his lightsaber away, just goes back to meet his friends, and I'm just sitting there watching. I'm like, well, you fucked up when you decided to fight a Jedi, my guy.
Dude, yeah. Actually, what a dope time to be a Jedi. I remember that one time we were at the bar that same Halloween. We actually saw like a creepy fight. Like there were those two guys who just kind of got into it at the bar, but they were both smiling while like punching the shit out of each other.
What?
Yeah, it was really creepy because they were actually like smiling while they were going at it, and then they got removed, and I was just actually disturbed.
Bro. That's why you shouldn't watch too much anime, bro. They were like trying to remake the ending of Naruto, like two warriors can only understand each other with their fists or some shit like that. See, because I can't imagine smiling like a fight with two people just smiling super hard at each other. It just seems like it would be disturbing to watch.
It was. It was actually creepy.
Dude, no.
I would have much rather watched like a Jedi battle.
No, like fighting during like I don't see why I don't like how there's like so many fights during Halloween, because like fighting during parties is fucking lame anyway.
So lame.
Like I don't like that's the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing at a party, but you come here and just to make an ass of yourself. Especially if you lose the fight, it's even worse. Especially if you start a fight and then you lose, it's the worst thing. You just gotta like pack up and go home.
Yeah, for real. Hey, if you start fights at parties, you're lame. Just called you out like that. I even pointed at the mic.
He pointed at the mic when he said that's how you know he's serious. Oh my god.
Coming straight for you guys.
Oh, but we're about to come to a close, but we can't talk about Halloween without talking about one of the most important elements of all time, candy. Now, in my opinion, the most elite chocolate of all time is Maltesers.
Oh, damn.
These little malt balls just covered in milk chocolate, best candy. I remember I was a kid, whenever I ate a Malteser, it was like happiness exploding in your mouth. Pause, by the way. Actually, no. Just delete this. Delete this entire segment right now. I swear to God.
Yeah. All right. But we can't talk about Halloween without talking about candy. So we're going to give our top 3. We're going to give like A, B, and C tier candies right now that you can get on Halloween. A tier? No, let's start with C tier. We'll save
I know worst candy.
The worst shit you can receive is absolutely raisins.
Bruh.
Nobody wants that.
Anything. If you give me raisins during Halloween, if you're the worst kind of person, I want you to know this. You're the worst kind of person.
You might get like lightsabered, and that will hold up in court.
100%. What else?
Another bad candy.
I'm really not a fan of like any candy that has coconut in it.
Really?
Not at all. Not at all. It's like stuff like Bounty. I don't know what other like coconut candy. That's like C tier. 100%.
Almond Joys. I'm a big coconut guy, so they gotta be B tier. We'll put them in the middle.
Almond Joys have coconut in them?
Yeah.
I've never had an Almond Joy.
Oh damn! It's literally like a bunch of coconut flakes, an almond, and then chocolate. No, it's one of my favorites. Caramel. I hate caramel. Caramel, however you say it.
Really?
I do not like that shit.
Damn, so you don't like Snickers or like Mars or like Twix or anything?
Okay, well, those are different types of caramel.
He said those are the exceptions.
Yeah, those are good. And if you put like a Snickers or Reese's peanut butter cups or shit in the fridge, that is where you want to be. Like that's what you're going for.
Oh, on God.
Laffy Taffy, I could say C tier.
People who give out gum during Halloween, I think is C tier. Like gum,
That's rude.
like gum just like tastes like anything.
Yeah. It's like candy that you can't even eat.
Like it's literally just something that you chew for a while, and like this thing, its flavor just kind of like disappears.
Yeah, it does. And then you're just chewing on this like hard, not enjoyable substance. So gum, C tier.
C tier. Okay, what other like? Okay, but like worst candy like in general. What do you think?
Oh, that's a tough one. See, I'm not a big candy person, but like I fucking hate Skittles, actually, believe it or not. I hate the sour Skittles. Those are okay. Like I'm down with those, but Skittles themselves, the tropical Skittles were kind of good though, I can't lie.
Damn.
So maybe I'm backtracking here.
I kind of like Skittles. I don't eat much candy anymore. I remember Skittles being pretty good.
Yeah.
But I remember this candy, I can't remember what it was. Oh, Hershey's chocolate bars are ass.
You despise them?
I despise them. Like literally they taste so bad, and I don't understand why people like them.
They're not that good.
Because I remember like outside the library they were making s'mores. Like, oh here, Hershey's candy, the best chocolate. I just bit it. It's like it tastes wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's not so much that it tastes bad. It tastes wrong. Like you can. It's like somebody like got as close to chocolate as they were willing to get, and they decided that that's what they were gonna put out.
Well, the thing that blows my mind is like people eat just straight up chocolate bars. Like you're really gonna eat Hershey's over Crunch, which at least has like some different textural things. Like that adds up. That makes up for so much more of like the candy experience instead of just soft milk chocolate, which is not even that good.
Yeah, literally like just having chocolate doesn't really like make sense to me. Like having something to like dip in chocolate, now that's elite.
That's elite. What's a B tier? What's like a B tier candy for you?
Mars bars. Like Mars are like acceptable.
Yes.
But like I wouldn't go out of my way to eat a Mars bar.
I'm with you on that.
What else? Arrow. I don't know if you guys have those here in America. Like these like chocolate bars kind of like filled with bubbles. It's like the only chocolate bar that I kind of like.
Okay.
But they're not like amazing.
That sounds cool to try.
I know, like British candy, British like chocolate in like Europe is like.
Yeah, it hits different. It's better.
Yeah.
All right, what about A tier? Like, can you give like 3 A tier, like ideal candies?
Okay, so like if you give out these candies, especially the big version to children on Halloween, you're the peak of human potential.
Some might call you a savior.
Your ancestors are proud of you, and I'm proud of you. So, Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yes. I agree with you on that.
Twix bars. The big Twix bars, though.
Those are fire.
A third. See, I need a third that's just like a universal banger. But I'm thinking.
I would say peanut M&Ms are like... I'm a big fan of peanut M&Ms. I think they're the best M&M. But like... an ideal Halloween candy, like the peak of Halloween candy. Ooh. See, I would say a Charleston Chew. I don't know if you've had that. They're mad good, but that's not a Halloween candy. See, that won't fly.
What is a Charleston Chew?
It's kind of like marshmallowy in the middle, but it's like harder than a marshmallow, and then there's chocolate on the outside.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It's really good.
I've never had one of those. I'll try one.
If you hand out like Pocky sticks, you're probably just the best person ever.
You probably watch a ton of anime too, but we won't shame you for it. Good looks.
Damn.
When I was a kid, they had like all these like basically it was just like Pocky, but like you have to dip it in like the chocolate sauce. That stuff was like so good when I was a kid. If you give that out during Halloween, you're also a pro.
Yes.
You're top tier.
You are a pro.
Well, I think in the end we can't really decide on a universally best Halloween candy because Halloween candy is subjective. But not all candies are created equal. Like
This is true.
No argument about that.
But let us know what you think the best Halloween candy is. Like,
yeah, please, and also let us know your favorite Halloween stories or your favorite Halloween fights, and your favorite Halloween frights. Obviously, your favorite horror movies. Let us know. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Because we're YouTubers now. So I'm here to shamelessly shill our product. And we just want to remind you all to stay safe over this Halloween weekend. Do what you're gonna do, just try not to put anybody or yourself in danger. And always remember, if you're feeling high or if you're feeling low, you've always got a place to go. And once again, we are your spooky hosts. I've been Sele.
And I've been Marcello, and
we just want to thank you all for coming with us on this very scary night.